years. I've been trying to catch this place open, and it's open now. I'm going in.
This building is the Mose Hudson Tapia Library, and this was the public library for the city of Batre until Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, really?
And originally it was just this one room here that you can see.
Yeah.
One room log cabin. And it's had additions added to it over the years. But it was built in 1933.
Oh, so this is all original wood and everything.
Yes, the original door here. And the original door had to lay rigged up.
Well, I guess if it works, it works.
Hey, it works. Been working all that time.
Wow, this place is full.
Yeah.
Oh,
and like
nice.
I say, it was originally just this one room right here.
Yeah.
When it first opened. And we refer to ourselves as the our museum of the French coast, because this area here from Mobile Bay over to the Louisiana-Texas border was all settled by the French, and then of course Pensacola and Florida, and then Texas were settled of course by the Spanish.
Oh, okay. So this Katrina, or is that?
That is Snake Bayou, which is a bayou that comes off this of Bayou Batre here, a little side branch, and that's how deep the water got right there. This right along here is the center of the bayou right there. That boat is sitting right in the center of it, and so you see the tops of the pylons there where this boat's tied off. Of course, later on you see it gets all the way up.
So if they know a hurricane's coming, do they just tie looser so the boat raises with the water?
Right.
Because if you tie the original, that joker's underwater, right? Or turns over.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about boating, but I want to be Forrest Gump.
Well, they a lot of times they'll get in the bayou where it gets down narrow, and then tie off to the trees on either side.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and then swim ashore. or,
really?
Or, if they got a little boat, go ashore. And with the bigger boats, you have to worry about that. I've got a little 22-foot sailboat down in Coden Bayou.
Oh, okay.
And I just take my trailer down and haul it to the house, because you never know if you'll be able to find it after a storm.
Yeah, all I have is a couple of flat bottoms, so I guess if they floated away, no great loss.
Years ago, down near the mouth of the bayou there, we had a big oyster plant down there, D&D Oysters, and they would during the winter time, of course, is when you oystered, because you didn't have refrigeration then.
Oh, okay.
But that was the big season, and a lot of immigrant people would come in from up in Baltimore mainly, and come down and work the plant. And of course, back in those days, you see, they didn't have child labor laws, so they had children working alongside there, opening oysters and everything.
I guess
they would can them and ship them out all over.
Oh, really? They would actually do the canning and everything?
Oh, everything right there. Yeah. We had a railroad that used to come down here called the Bayshore Railroad. Came down from Mobile, down basically what is now Bellingraph Road. And when it got to the place called Delchamps, one spur went off over to Alabama Port. The other spur came around to Coden and Bayou Batre.
Wow. And
right now, that's what's called Rock Road. Whenever they took the tracks up years ago, they just made that a road then, you know. And
so were these pictures 1800s or early 1900s?
Early 1900s. These were, let's see.
Oh, so these children.
1908 came photographer for the National Child Labor Committee.
Oh, and took these pictures, I guess, huh?
I think these were in 1911.
So these little kids are shucking oysters, probably?
Yep. Or else one little one there is probably taking care of her baby sister or something, while the others,
but
they had little camp, houses there that people would stay in whenever they were come down, and you see they would catch the oysters, with rakes, tonging them up, and then they would go out and take them out to the bigger schooners, and they would bring the oysters to the factory. and either in Mobile or down here.
So now there's oyster beds. Don't they grow them? I mean, is that the way it works? I don't know anything about oysters.
Well, most oysters grow on the bottom, and a lot of times people will lease an area and have a private oyster reef there themselves, you know, take care of it.
Oh, okay.
And then now the biggest thing is now they're growing them in floating baskets. They take a basket that holds them up off the bottom and grow them in there. And that's a much more efficient, it's labor intensive, but it's much more efficient. You can grow them off a lot quicker. And the restaurants love them because they process them by putting them in a big tumbler and rolling them in there, and they'll fall out through the little holes in this big drum, you know, as they go down.
So you end up with just the shells in the basket or whatever.
Well, they'll drop out, you know, as to the size. If they, you know, drop out here, and then it's a smaller size, and you sort them, put them in a basket, you know, and they grow more. Then the medium, and then the large. The largest ones that come out at the end, that's the ones you sell. They're ready to go.
Oh, okay.
And then they're usually, because you're tumbling them there, they grow in a round shell because it chips them around and everything. They'll grow in a round. They won't get elongated like this. Those are harder to open and everything. That's how they look naturally.
Oh, okay.
But when they do them in these, growing them in the farms, they'll be a nice round when they're perfect for the restaurants. You know, they open them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's a kind of a niche market. You know, the unfortunately the oystering, like I say, you know, we don't have enough oyster bottom around here to support, you know, fishermen year round. Of course, you can't do it in the summer anyway because you know, again, you know, you can't refrigerate or the problem is they could only go out for a couple hours first thing in the morning because it'd be too hot then after that, and so you really couldn't make a living just going out and catching oysters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then so that's when they developed this farming, you know.
So what's the organ deal?
This is an old organ out of one of the out of the Baptist church here, and of course you don't see it now. It used to have pedals down here that you would pump to pump the air through it. Yeah.
So it's a bag.
Right, pump the air through it. And so you had to be, besides being able to play it, you had to be coordinated to play and pump the, keep it going.
Have good legs.
Yeah. It'd be like, kind of like the Scotsman, you know, play the bagpipes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
And this is
somebody spent some time on that, didn't they?
Well, listen there again. I think this is from the Baptist church, and it was 1910.
Yeah,
so it's probably all the members of the church that they did in that one there. This is some of our members of the community here that was in the military at different times. Here's some of the others here too. So got a pretty, for a small community, you have a pretty wide-ranging military.
So these are men and women that said, "I am not going to shuck oysters for a living. I'm leaving. I'm leaving this town."
Well, either that or they got drafted during the war.
Yeah, I bet.
Of course, some of them are First World War, Second World War, Korea, and most of them come back and went to, you know, came back to home and everything afterwards.
World War I.
Yeah.
Wow. So what's this just donated from people who served?
Right. Mm-hmm. Most of these pictures here, Mr. Otis Collier, that's his picture on the end there, the Marine.
Oh yeah.
He did most of these pictures in Korea. Yeah. He was there with the Marine Corps.
Look at that. Did y'all find that, or he donated?
No, it was found. They used to the little barrier islands off the coast here. You know, Pensacola's always been a naval air station.
Right.
And we go out, and some of the barrier islands would be bomb ranges during the war, and so they would go out and drop these little small bombs, and they would, you know, have a powder or something to where when it hit, it would mark, you know, where the hits were.
Oh, so that's a training one, maybe?
Right. That's just a training bomb. Yeah, that's all that is. So it's just, you know.
So there might be more out there, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's not a real. We wouldn't have a real one in it.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And this is kind of interesting. Bellingraph Gardens here, every Halloween has a scarecrow contest. And this past year, we entered it, the first time we ever entered it, and we wound up winning the first prize for the our Bayou scarecrow. And that's the way it looked there at the
yeah, that's good.
Bellingraph, you know.
First place.
Yeah.
That would be scary to see sitting out in the yard. You know, there's a house down the road here a couple of years ago, several years ago, that had a gold mannequin sitting on the porch. You remember that? You remember that thing? And I stopped.
I buy it, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, I stopped. It's like somebody took a store mannequin and spray painted it gold. And I got in touch with the owners. I said, okay, because I wanted to metal detect the yard. I didn't like metal detecting. They said, maybe don't do that. And I said, okay, were you okay if I make a video? And they were cool with that. So some people are okay, some people are not. Yeah. So. But they either renovated it or sold it to somebody else. I don't know. It's all fixed up now. Oh, look at the barnacle bottles.
Yeah, some of the collection, the different bottles and everything. You can see.
What does that one say?
Of course, a lot of the. Well, this is St. Joseph's. I'm not sure what was in it, but it was St. Joseph's. But these are all, old ones there with corks. Yeah. And of course, the ones that are tinted had chemicals that you had to keep out of the sun,
And that's why they were tinted?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I've got a few different colors, but I didn't know that's why they were colored.
Yeah, it would draw the,
oh, that's actually Coke.
Yeah.
Mobile.
Well, the Bellingraph family was the one that had the concession for Coca-Cola in Mobile, so that's where they made their fortune.
Are they still around? Are the family people still here? Or is it all bought by some big?
Well, I think they made a foundation. He collected and built his gardens and everything there. And so it's now a foundation, I think, that runs it all. And over the years, the Bayou changed, from the early on, was of course fishing and what have you, and subsistence living and everything. And then in the late 1800s and early 1900s, the area was kind of like a little resort area. There was actually a number of hotels along the waterfront there. One being the Ralston Hotel, where the Ralston Park is over on Coat End Beach.
Yeah.
That's where the Ralston Hotel. I'll show you a picture of it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
And so we went through that, and then after the big hurricanes early in the century, got all the hotels. They went back to being more of a subsistence and doing fishing, And this is some of Dr. Tapia's.
I was about to say it's a medical
right
opener. Is that a letter opener? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm. And Dr. Tapia was a doctor here for years and years, and this is what tickles me, some of the different prices. So, he charged, I guess people owed, I don't know what was owed or what they paid.
$2.
$2, $1. I don't think he ever did anything that cost more than $10, Of course, his license was only $5.50 for the year.
I wonder what a medical license costs now.
There's no telling.
Probably a little more, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure.
This place is neat. So these are all original too, you think?
Oh yeah, everything here is original. Like I say, this was built by the people here in the community, and with some help also from the workers, during the Depression, it would CCC.
Yeah,
people,
CCC, yeah.
And so, like I say, it was just this room originally. Then they added on to one room behind us, and then they added on this room over here. And over the years, and of course, got some of our stuff in here. Some of our more famous people. Our first mayor there. Oliver Wenzel there, the Oysters and Politics. That book is hilarious.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah.
Picture.
Of course, the Wenzel's restaurant there in Mobile. That's him.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. And
how do you pronounce that?
Wenzel's.
Wenzel's.
Yeah.
We've been there once or twice.
Right, right.
So is he still alive and all that stuff?
No, he's passed.
He was the original starter of the empire.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little pipe, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is neat.
And this is fairly recent here. Mr. Darrell Haskew wrote this historical novel, Portersville, about the town in the late 18 and early 1900s there. It's a fictional historical novel. You'll recognize a lot of the names and people who actually lived here and everything, but the main characters are made up and what have you. But it really gives you a good idea of what it was like to live here.
Yeah, that'd be. Let me see. It's Portersville.
Portersville. The whole area was known as Portersville at that time.
Everything here.
Right. That's what the bay out there is, Portersville Bay. And it's because a guy named Porter got the mail concession to bring the mail from Mobile over to New Orleans. So they brought it down on the stage here to Portersville.
See, I would have guessed because it was a port.
Well, no, it's because it was his name. And, he had the mail concession and had the mail, post office here. Yeah. And so it became Portersville. And then later, as the communities grew, then, you got a post office in Cote Inn and then one in Bayou, Batre. So then it became two different areas.
So a porter, what's a porter, like historically? Isn't a porter a job?
Porter is like, the guys who carry your bags, for like onto the train or at the hotel or whatever like that. That's porters. And this is all shells and stuff that were dredged up mostly by shrimpers and what have you, catching them, out and then, we've gotten them. Of course, this here is
I saw that.
Skull of the porpoise there.
I've never, I wouldn't know what that, I mean, I know it looks like a skull, but if I found it, I thought, man, what has the nose that long? That's been my first thought. What have we found here?
And of course, each year here we have Blessing of the Fleet is always here now, the first weekend in May every year, and here at St. Margaret's Catholic Church there. And so
there's not as many people don't generally get lost at sea anymore doing this job, do they? I mean, are there? I know there's dangers.
That is still one of the highest. Of course, the highest fatalities is with the crabbing fleet up in Alaska. But there's still a lot of people who are lost at sea. That's one thing. I'm the master of ceremonies for the down at the dock there. And the last thing we do, we have a little prayer, what have you, as the Archbishop goes and gets on the boat to do the boat parade. And the last thing I do before I go get on my boat and get in line in the parade is go ahead and read out the names of all the men who've been lost at sea from the community. And we ring, toll the bell for each one.
Wow.
Of course, the Native Americans, the Indians, were here long before the Europeans. And you can see some of the
like pottery
different pottery and what have you, arrowheads. Most of this was collected around the mouth of Cote Inn Bayou. If you've gone around there and you notice there's a to the east, there's a piece of property there. It's got a big for sale sign up on it now, but it's got a little mound out there with a tree growing out in the middle of it. Everybody around here refers to that as Duck Hill. And what that is an Indian Midian. And most of the stuff is from right around there.
Indian what?
Midian, where they've, it'd still be shell and dirt, what have you, like that. Whenever they would come through every year or so, they would come and camp there, and when they'd open the oysters, they'd go out and coon up the oysters. So
is that private property, I suppose?
It is private property now, but whoever owns it is a custodian of Indian or Native American site number 1 in the state of Alabama.
That's what that is?
That's what that is. And so
will they let you go look at it? Or?
Oh, well, you can see it from the road, It's right there.
Where is it now?
When you go down to Cote Inn Bayou, that's the next bayou going down. There's a little bridge.
And there's a couple of neat little boats sitting down in there? Or is it with a house, the big 3-story house? Like it's going to fall down?
Two-story house right there, yeah. if you turn on that one on the east side, that's Code Belt Road. Been mowed some, you know, and so it's not
to see that.
completely overgrown, but you can see it sitting back there, you know. There used to be a house on it years and years ago. Whenever I first came around here, my wife's from here originally. I'm from Mobile, and we used to sail our little catamaran off the beach right there, and we always kidded about it being what we called a squirrel house. It was a house there on stilts. An old lady lived in, and poor thing, she had gotten old and kind of senile, and her son came by one day and said, "Mama, why you got all this cat food out here in bowls on the floor?" "Oh, the squirrels, they come and the squirrels come and visit and they eat the squirrels." And he goes around the corner and looks, and the dad-blamed nutria were coming up in there and eating the dirt.
What's a nutria? I've heard of it.
That's a big South American rat, you know, yeah.
There's nutria here?
Yeah. You know, they got loose in one of the hurricanes in the early 40s.
I gotta Google that.
And they got terrible around here. When I was a kid, they used to have a nutria rodeo over on the causeway in Mobile.
Way.
Yeah, to try and control them because they were just eating up the marsh, something terrible, you know. And they would just slaughter them. They would, you know, prizes were, you know, the most numbers of them you brought in, the heaviest weight of them, you know, the ugliest one, the cutest one, whatever, you know, just to get people to come out and kill them.
So she thought she was feeding cats. I mean squirrels.
No, she was feeding the damn nutria.
But she thought they were squirrels.
Yeah, she didn't know no better, you know.
Isn't a nutria a big old thing?
Oh gosh, yeah, they get big, you know. Well, not anymore, since the alligators have really come back now.
Oh, yeah.
The only nutria around now are fast ones.
So where can you
I used to see them when I first moved down here 30 years ago. Used to see them running across the road and everything all the time.
So are they swimmers?
Oh yeah, they swim like a fish.
But they'll swim in the salt water and everything?
Oh yeah.
I guess they would be a feast for alligators.
They still have a real problem with them over in New Orleans and Louisiana.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Do they bite?
No, they got big old teeth, you know, because they are a vegetarian, but they eat up, you know, the you know.
Yeah, I guess they eat anything, huh?
Yeah, but
so if you caught one, have you? So I guess you've had them in your hands before, huh?
They're a you know, the reason they got here was a guy brought them in and was going to raise them for their pelts. He was over there on the coast, and when a hurricane came and busted loose his pens, they all got loose out into the wild. And they just went crazy, you know. Alligators at that time had been just about killed out, you know, so there was no natural enemy for them. And so around here, they just went crazy. But now that the alligators were, you know, been on the protective list for so long, now they're actually starting to hunt them again.
So are there alligators in all these waters around here, all these little sloughs and everything? Yeah. And see, I thought, and these are saltwater sloughs, right?
Oh yeah. Well, brackish, you know.
Brackish,
you know, the further you go up Bayou, Batre, the fresher it's going to be. Same thing, Code in, you know.
That makes sense.
So it mixes, you know. It's still tidal, you know. You can see here back in the 40s and 50s, the big thing was going out on these party boats. They would take you out for 2 or 3 days at a time. They had a cook and a deckhand and the captain, you know, and they'd bring along, you know, some little skiffs that you could fish off or just fish right off the boat itself there. And so you take could go out for a day or two. They did some hotel, like I said, it was there on Code Inn Beach. And that was one of the hotels. There was the Oleander, the Ralston, the Villa Alba, a number of different ones. And this one here is what tickles me. This fella here was down from Birmingham, caught a 215-pound tarpon while he was in 1906.
That's a record, I suppose.
I don't know if it's a record, but it's. I mean, it's a big one.
Come down for a trip and caught it. Like, look, honey, I caught a fish, and he sticks his arms out. She says, "No, you didn't."
They had a big old pier coming off out from the hotel out into the bay out there to where the water was deep, where the schooners could come in and pick them up and take them out for fishing trips.
Now, do you eat those, or those eaten?
No, tarpons have never been there. They're a great sporting fish, but they're not edible, and not any good anyway if you eat, you know. And now the tarpon fishermen, they don't kill them anymore. They take them, get them up, they try to weigh them as best they can, and take pictures, and they pull scales because they can judge the size of the fish by the scales, and that's how they determine who wins and who loses. And this house here is the old Royal Oaks on that Coden Beach. If you go around there on the far east end of it there, the road goes up back up to the highway 188 is Hemley Road. On the other side of it there is on that corner is Royal Oaks. It's the last of the old, big old, beautiful houses that we had here along the beach. Katrina got, let's see, the old Catholic Boys Home, the Colonel Frierson's place, the Clark House.
Oh,
big old beautiful houses like this, big 2-story houses. A lot of them had wraparound porches, you know, and everything. And but the hurricane got all of them except this one. And this one, whenever right after the storm, you could see right through the ground floor. It washed out everything. I don't know how it stayed up. The columns were all gone.
Good bones, huh?
Right. And so Colonel Lewis was able to get it, shored back up there. He's Air Force colonel. His picture's in there.
Oh, okay.
But he retired now, of course. But he was able to save it, and that's the last of the big old homes on the beach that we used to have down here. It's a shame, to lose all that history.
So where'd you get the vinegared animals? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Are they just pickled or?
Yeah, well, they're just
are they science
pickled.
projects?
I don't know if it's what they're in, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to dare open anything. Yeah, it might be formaldehyde.
Yeah, I wouldn't open them either. You probably wouldn't want to work here anymore.
Right. I don't know if this came from the schools or where it may have come from, but we wound up getting it, here at the Historic Foundation.
Southern stingray. So there's a shark in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to buy sharks when I was in college to
dissect.
Yeah, to dissect all the biology classes. And this is really a nice place.
It's an old ice box.
Oh.
Put your food and everything in here, and then drop the blocks of ice in the top.
Yeah, because cold goes down.
Mm-hmm.
So what's in the bottom? Is it?
That's just
That's where you put your stuff.
Yeah, that's where you put your whatever you needed to keep cool.
Dude, I don't think I've ever seen one of those in real life.
Yeah. I know my mother talked about one. My mother was from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Oh.
Daddy met her when he was playing ball up there in New York for the Giants.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where your dad played?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
After the war, he went to play with them, and he met her up there.
Wow.
So poor mama, we used to kid her all the time, about Mama, what do they call them folks that live up north? Yankees. And what do they call them folks that live up north that come down south to visit? Damn Yankees.
Yes.
And what about the ones that stay? GD Yankees.
They don't go home. They do not leave.
Oh, Mama, you couldn't have made Mama go back up north.
Oh, really?
No.
So she liked it.
There's no way in the world she'd have ever gone back.
So the bottles and stuff are donated? I guess everything's donated.
Everything here has been donated over the years, yeah.
What is that, clay?
Mm-hmm. And I don't have any idea of what that symbolizes. You see, they got the snakes around the hand with the eye in it.
Oh,
and,
it's like rattlesnake.
the guy here, and then the horse off to the side. So I have no idea what that symbolizes or anything like that.
Man, this place is nice. It's got all kind of stuff.
This is kind of our dedicated to our schools here. The school just on down here, the Alba school.
I metal detected the front of it back when it looked like it was near. I thought, man, this thing's gonna fall to the ground, or they got to do something. They fixed it up, didn't they?
Yeah, the two-story building.
Yeah, the big old gray one, the big trees in the front.
Well, you see, originally it was two.
Oh, there were two buildings.
Two buildings. wood floor when they first built it in 1918. And then later in the 30s, they filled in the center and made an office and then put a second floor on it. And that was the Alba School for years and years. And then later they built behind it and everything. So my sister-in-law is actually, my wife's sister was the principal there, just retired recently.
So it was closed for a while, right? The big...
That building was,
The big building was itself.
But yeah, they restored a lot of it. I love the old bus there, the wagon with a mule.
Oh, the school wagon. I guess it would have to jam around and go get everybody.
Yeah.
Get out there, boy, the wagon's here.
Yeah.
Instead of you're going to miss the bus, you're going to miss the wagon.
Yeah, you wasn't missing the wagon.
That'll be a saying in there somewhere, we don't know.
And before, I love these here. I mean, I love the diplomas. They're beautiful. Oh. They're not near as nice as this anymore, but before they had Alba, then it was just a Batre school, you know, or a high school.
1917.
But that was from 17 and then 18 was when they opened Alba. I love the diplomas.
Yeah, they're also elaborate.
Yeah, they're not like that anymore. That was the old original Batre school. And then there's Alba. And of course, there's the wagon.
So which one is existing? Which one of these is here today?
Both of these are here. You know, that's the ground floor of that two-story building. They just filled in the center and then added a second floor over top of it.
I thought, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you see they had a couple of buses running.
Yeah, the buses.
Wagons.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I guess they did take wagons to school. Yeah. So this class is, these are visitors?
This is some of the kids from, now it's just the middle school. Alba is just the middle school here.
So what year was this?
This is this year. The kids came down and visited with the ladies come in, some of our volunteers during the week on Wednesday and open up. And they came in that day and they were getting ideas. They made a video in the video contest for Mobile County Public School System and won first place in their category for middle school.
So is it all girls school? Is that all girls?
Well, no, there's a couple of guys, but mostly girls in that picture, yeah.
Man, those guys are living the dream, aren't they?
Yeah.
I want to go to school, Daddy. I want to go to school.
That's right, yeah. If you're the only boy in the whole bunch, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that class.
Who needs a day for the dance? Okay, all six of you. Deal.
That might be Peter F. Alba there. I'm not sure.
This fella?
Yeah. Yeah, he's very prominent in both Mobile and down here. He had big holdings and what have you like that. He was a soldier during the war between the states, and then later on afterwards in the cavalry out west. And then came back to Mobile and, like I said, made his fortune. He donated the property over there where the school is, so that's how it's Alba School.
So I know what these things are, but...
This is for repairing shoes.
Yeah,
you put the shoes over there and hammer on, nail them, and then flip it over to smaller size.
Oh, that's aluminum, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought, man, that's going to fall, but I guess it's aluminum. Be okay if it falls.
And these, I remember these when I was a kid. That's for tea. You know, you put
I thought it was a salt and pepper shaker.
No, open it up and put your tea leaves in. And then hang it on the edge of the teapot, you know, let it steep and everything. Till it gets strong enough for you, and then...
What is this one?
I'm not
a tea thing too, I guess?
Something or another. Let's see. It opens up.
So when nobody's here, do you come here and play with all this stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well...
I would have been like, man, check it out.
Of course, big cowbells and irons, you know, irons for ironing. You put them on the old wood stove.
So was this hers?
Yeah.
Churn?
The milk churn, yeah. Or butter churn, rather. Yep.
Yeah, we had some of those bigger ones that my mother used to make sauerkraut in them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. Because we had it in an old pump house for the well.
Right.
And I don't know how she'd make it, and they shove it all in there and put it in there, and it's just so nasty to me. But It smelled good, but I could not eat that stuff.
It's strong. It's a job. Anything like that, you know, the processing and everything of the shrimp. You know, my wife, for instance, whenever she was a kid, she and her sister and brothers and her mama would go to some of the shops around here. That's when they literally still hand headed shrimp and peeled shrimp and what have you. Wow. And so they would come and head shrimp. And she tried opening oysters, but she could never make she couldn't open enough to be any good at that. You know, couldn't make no money. That's a real heck of a job there, boy.
I bet it is.
Open oysters.
I think, we watched some of the guys at the restaurant you were talking about.
Yeah,
back there.
Yeah. And there again, that's what he. You know, they used to catch all his oysters right out here in the middle of Portersville Bay out here, you know, where the roadway goes around the front.
And haul them up there again.
Just go, take them up there and open them and everything like that. That originally there in Mobile, right in the center where that little bar is, it was literally just in the center of that building. You went in the door, the bar was on one side, and there was a few tables on down the other side, and that was it. It went straight back, and that was it. You know, that's what he started. And eventually, it's taken over that whole block.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've done quite well, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, Wetzel's is very proud, and but they have a reason to be. They excellent food. You know.
Oh, that's their.
Let me just give you one of these.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It has something about us, the historical foundation here, and a little about the whole area. And it'll show you, we are right up here, right about here. And this is Shellbelt Road that goes down to the city docks. And then Shellbelt continues on around the waterfront there. Then you go back, zigzag up here, that's where the shipyards are here. All along here are shipyards and processing plants and what have you like that all the way down. And then back over the little bridge there, that's Coden Bayou here. And then down around Coden Belt Road, number 10 here, that's the old Royal Oaks. Oh, but there used to be, like I say, on this road here, there were 3 big old houses like that. And we lost them all in Katrina. It was so sad.
My name's Jeff, and I appreciate you letting me record. I don't usually put my face on camera or anybody else's, but this is great. I really appreciate everything.
So. Well, the Historical Foundation, as you can see, we love it when we ever have guests. You know, we just love it because we can take and show what we've got, and that's what we're kind of dedicated to. So do the kids make it through it? Are
the kids like, oh goodness, finish this tour, or some of them like it?
Some of them like it. You know, it just depends. And we keep trying to encourage them down there, especially at Alba, because at least they're close by, and we kind of got a little relationship with them going here. Is to get the history classes to come by and pay a visit.
And the big
come by on Wednesday and see it.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for little kids is if you can't put your hands on it, they don't care.
Right.
So if you had like one shell they could piddle around with, you know what I mean? I know you don't want them like taking bottles and playing, but
right.
It's hard to say, look at it, now don't touch that,
Well, like I said, it's usually not a real big problem. And so that's why we enjoy just having, like I say, we all run out. I probably, don't know when to shut up.
It's fine.
It's we're so excited about having people come by, and we love showing what we have here.
Well, that's great. Yeah, people that watch my videos, they say that I don't talk enough, but
that would be great. I would love it if people would come look us up. Like I said, I wish we could be open more hours.
Yeah, I know, but if you volunteer though, you can't.
It's all volunteer. Yeah, I work during the week, so I come in on Saturdays usually and open.
Well, I appreciate everything. I really do. And like I said, my name is Jeff, and I'll let you know when this thing goes public.
All right, thank you.